Right.
Yeah.
What am I going to say, Big Dunk?
Like it's wonderful, wonderful.
Florence and the Machine live here from the Levante Beach. It's Radio 1 Benidorm. Also live on Facebook, the Three Pundits Facebook. Also live on our YouTube channel, the Three Pundits YouTube. And also live today, just for a change, on Ken Scott's personal Facebook page as well.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, fantastic,
amazing,
fantastic. And before I go to Steve, the Flying Pig, as he's well known, to give us an update on the latest scores. There's two massive games getting underway at this present time. I have to say, lads, what a disappointment. What a disappointment that we're back to the domestic leagues, the Premier League, after such a wonderful Nations League.
Don't talk so damn right stupid.
Is he on drugs?
Is he? What an absolute div.
The Nations League, lads, and I know you doubted it. The Nations League last week was some of the best football and the best passion I've seen for many a year.
Yeah.
I saw the best game I've seen for 5 years, Croatia versus Spain. England had an absolute orgasmic end of the tournament, as did Scotland. Don't mention Albania beating Wales. That's a different kettle of fish. But lads, overall, a fantastic, successful few weeks in the Nations League, and I'm just a bit disappointed to get back to domestic
football. Now the
football.
real football's back now, mate. The real football.
Thank God it's finished till next March.
Is that it? It's still, yeah, it's still
Well, I've all forgotten that. Big time it comes round again, we won't gone.
What an enormous success, the biggest success from FIFA's point of view since they ejaculated Sepp Blatter out of the place. Oh, sorry, ejected, yeah. Since they ejected Sepp Blatter, Sepp Blatter, since they got rid of him, the big fat German. Okay, listen, lads.
Yes.
Flying Pig, what are you? There's two big games. Big games.
There is two big games.
Top of the table clashes in Spain and in the Championship.
Well, I've got to Spain first, Scotty, because, I mean, this is an incredible... it's 52 minutes in at the minute.
Is it?
52 minutes in La Liga, and it's Eibar 1, Real Madrid 0.
Incredible, incredible. Eibar, who only came up about 3 seasons ago, that little tiny club from the Basque Country, who, I think I've said this before, lads, you do realise that they're related to the Scottish national team?
No.
They have big banners all over the stadium, Escocia La Brava, which means Scotland the Brave. About 15 years ago...
Come on, Real Madrid!
About 15 years ago, a delegation from Eibar, however you pronounce it, went away to Scotland. Once again, they were getting thumped at Hampden Park, and they couldn't believe the passion from the Scotland fans. When they were still getting thumped, they were still singing, they were still clapping. At the end of the game, even though they got thumped, they applauded the team off the pitch. And from that day onward, Eibar said, we are Scotland the Brave. This is where we want to go forward. And if you go to the Eibar Stadium...
They're not very ambitious then.
I know, if you go to the Eibar Stadium, full of St Andrews crosses, Scotland the Brave, the Lion Rampant, this is the team in Spain who has a massive affiliation with Scotland, the Minnows. They get about 7,000 or 8,000 each game. They're in La Liga. They are beating the mighty Real Madrid Flying Pig.
Yeah, they are 1-0. Anyway, apart from that, all that lot of rubbish.
That's all that guff.
We'll get back to England, and there's one big game in the Championship going on, approaching half time. It's about 39-40 minutes now, and it's Rotherham 0, Sheffield United 1. And if that stays the same, that pushes Sheffield United to the top of the Championship table on 33 points.
Serious business.
Serious business, yeah. Looking good, Sheffield United. That'll make them equal on points with Norwich, but Norwich have to play it today.
Yeah, and last night, I believe it was West Brom, they got a big away win at Ipswich. They beat Ipswich 2-1 in the Championship. Now, they were top of the table, I believe, prior to this game. I know they were second in the table prior to this game.
Yeah,
They're
they were
now
behind
slipped
Norwich.
down to third.
Yeah, with Sheffield United.
As you say, Middlesbrough to play today.
I see Super Leeds are in there still.
Leeds playing Bristol City. Leeds in fourth
Super
place
League.
as we speak. Bristol City in 13. That should be an easy win for your second team, Leeds United, Big Duncan.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I want Leeds to do. I like my family. Half of them support Leeds, and the other half support Liverpool. That's it.
That's a bit strange, isn't it?
Do you think? What's strange? Well, hang on a minute. What's strange about that? Like,
Well, it's the
what's
War of the
strange
Roses.
about that?
The Roses. You shouldn't really mix these
Well,
things, you
it's
know.
because
Well, imagine if it was Leeds and Man United, then there'd be carnage, wouldn't there?
yeah, well, yeah.
Leeds and Liverpool, a lot of respect for each other, them two clubs. I want to see. Do you know what? I want Leeds back in the Premier League.
Yeah, I
because
do
they're
as well.
a big club, and when they play like Manchester United, Leeds Man United is a great fixture. Come on, guys, that's why I want them to get promoted.
I can't disagree with it. We're going to be talking, obviously, about the predictions coming up. 2 weeks ago, the Flying Pig took
Oh,
the
it was a goal. It was a goal, Scotty.
Oh, it's a goal, goal! Wait a minute, 1 minute. Goal, 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 goal! Eba!
Unbelievable up there in the Basque Country. It's Eibar 2, Real Madrid 0.
What, this could be one of the greatest upsets on this Flying Pigs football. You've obviously the Eibar phones, the fans are just get, and he's got that goal on the
He's got his new phone, bless him. He's took it everywhere, hasn't he?
He forgets to turn
And
the
nobody
sound
ever
on.
rings me.
Oh, dear.
Don't forget, we're going to take a little bit more music and a few ads.
Hang on a minute, stop.
Go on.
You said you were talking about predictions and the Flying Pig the other week.
Yeah, but then he got orgasmic because there was a goal for Eibar.
So we're not. Did he have a moment and we just ruined it?
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Well, tell her what happened
I
2
think
weeks ago.
I think it ended at orgasm then. What?
Yeah, I think you're right. I love that.
So what do you-
Well, no, 2 weeks ago in the predictions, and we're going to go to the predictions after we'll talk a little bit of music and a few ad breaks, and we're going to come back with the predictions for the day. But 2 weeks ago, prior to that, wonderful UEFA Nations League. Prior to that, the Flying Pig took the honours.
Of course.
Yeah, he got his 10 points. And I think I was second, and Big Dunk, who claims he knows best, he was last.
And who's top at table now?
Ultima.
Who's top?
Yeah, you are top. Yeah, you are top.
Right.
You're 45 points. The Flying Pig 35, and Ken Scott. Okay.
6.
5
5
points. 5 points. But the beauty is that Newcastle aren't in the predictions this week. They're not there, so it might just be Ken Scott has a chance of winning this week.
All right, okay.
Okay, because whenever Ken Scott predicts Newcastle win, they get humped. You know, they get humped. Okay, as I say, you can listen. We're going to take a little break. If you want to listen continuously, go to Radio 1 Benidorm. If you're on FM, if you're in the area, it's 90.1. If you're not in the area, then go to the website, www.radio1, the figure 1, not the letters, Benidorm.es, and click on the live player. And what's the other thing
The
that you
tuning app. The tuning app. Everyone's got that these days. If they've got the tuning app on the mobile phones, they can just search Radio 1 Benidorm.
There you go, lads. What more could you ask for? We're going to take, as I say, a wee bit more music, a few ad breaks, and we'll be right back with the predictions. Go, 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 go! Flying Pig. Could this be a day in history at the tiny little poopy stadium of Eibar?
Oh, absolutely, Scott. It's unbelievable up there. It's Eibar 3, the mighty Real Madrid 0.
It is incredible, and I'm not exaggerating. Historically, this could be one of the greatest upsets in the history of La Liga. I was speaking to Big Dunk during the break. I said, look, it's not beyond the realms of impossibility that Eibar could sneak a 1-0 win or even a 2-1 win at Real Madrid, against Barcelona. But to be crucifying Real Madrid 3-0, that is probably, if it stays this way, the strangest, weirdest result I've ever seen in La Liga, Flying Pig.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite unreal. And they're 67 minutes in at the minute, Scotty. So, I mean, you know, something incredible has happened for Real Madrid to get back in
It's a
this.
bit like Newcastle winning a game, isn't it, mate?
Well, enough of that. Now, listen, just moving swiftly on, please. Who's this Gadget you've got next to you?
This is our Gary from Giving for Giving. Good afternoon, Gary.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Gary. Where'd you get that shirt?
From the charity shop.
It cost
Classic.
It cost him €1.
Classic. You're from the charity shop. This is Gary from Giving for Giving, one of our bestest pals. He comes into Radio 1 Benidorm on occasion. He's been on with Ash, I think. You've been on with Ash, haven't you, Gary?
Yeah, quite a few times.
You've been on with us a couple of times.
Yeah.
This is the guy that has all the Giving for Giving charity shops, and the guy that pours in hundreds of thousands into the community. And by hundreds of thousands, no, you're laughing. I think over the years, it's getting under that sort of figure, Gary, isn't it?
110.
110,000. Now, you laughed there, Flying Pig. Why you laugh?
Hey, what's funny about that?
Yeah, what's funny about that, man? I mean, you spend all your money on cider. This man spends all his money on charity and giving to people and all that.
You had a nosebleed the other night when I asked you for some change.
Yeah, and listen, you don't say anything either, Big Dump, because we seen you slipping a fiver into that lap dancer's knicker leg.
Yeah.
Okay?
It was €6 actually, and I put it in her hand.
You put what in your hand? What did you put in your hand?
What about what you put in the knicker line in?
And we thought we've got some serious business to discuss here.
Absolutely. Gary, you need to give us an update. You've come in today because I think you're asking for some volunteers, aren't you?
Yeah, we desperately need volunteers in all our shops. Altea, in Villajosa and in Lunafia. We always need them all, like all year round. So if anybody wants to join our team, please give me a call. 603 137 697.
What times are you talking about, Gary? What time do your shops open?
10 in the morning till 2, Monday to Saturday. So we only ask 4 hours commitment from people. So if they can spare us 4 hours a week, that's fantastic.
What would they be doing?
All sorts, sorting clothes, serving people, pricing, general work like shop work, basically.
Do you have like a little, there must be a great sense of community that all these volunteers come in and they know they're helping people, and I think, is it fair to say most of them are kind of retiring age and that sort of thing, and you must get a nice feeling of camaraderie in the shops.
Yeah. The majority are sort of retired, but we do have younger ones, and there's around 60 of us now all working for Giving for Giving.
60?
Yeah.
Is that right?
We have 60 volunteers.
You've shocked me even more than what Ebor have against Real Madrid, to be perfectly honest, Gary.
Yeah.
Incredible. Tremendous guy. But I'm going to have a go at him now. I'm going to have a little go at him. Who do you support, Gary?
Arsenal.
Yes. Where were you on Sunday night when Paul Merson was in Benidorm?
Sleeping, I think.
No, you
because I'm
wasn't.
out 7 o'clock every morning working.
Listen, I want no excuses. No excuses. These guys were drinking till 3 and 4 in the morning, and they were up at 7 or 8 o'clock the following morning. But listen, Gary.
Like 2 days after.
Yeah, well, Flying Pig's knocking on for about 87 now, so it really affected him badly. Big Dunk wasn't too bad. Listen, Gary, what a great night you missed, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Have you told him about it, Steve?
No.
No?
No, I haven't really seen you. I listened.
No, not really.
You should have phoned him up and told him you miserable git. It was a brilliant night. How could you not tell anyone about that?
That was absolutely fantastic. And as soon as I met Merson, then he comes, he went, hello then. I says, don't you talk to me. You never, ever predict the Newcastle win. He goes, I've been right so far this season. I said, okay, I can't argue with that. But anyway, from that moment in time when the ice was broke, that guy was a gentleman. He had time for everybody, photographs, and incidentally, time for everybody. Apparently, Wayne Rooney's getting a little bit of a stick because he left that game against the USA, which was his last game, and all the guys were waiting outside for autographs, all the kids, and he just walked past them and he never signed the autograph. Tim Cahill played his 93rd game from Australia midweek. He stayed behind to sign autographs for 2 hours for the kids. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that one because I'm not a Wayne Rooney fan. But anyway,
Legendary.
He's legendary, but not in terms of autographs.
No. I mean, Cahill is legendary.
Oh, Cahill, yeah, absolutely, 100%. But Gary, it was just one incredible night, and Merson got up. There's a video that says, this is Paul Merson, and I owe everything to the three pundits. He learned his trade off us, didn't he, lads?
He did. He's a bright guy.
Yeah, he learned his trade off us, and he was with us most of the night. He told some great stories, didn't he? Some fantastic stories, really honest about his gambling, Gary.
Yeah.
Now he gambled more in one bet than you've raised in the years you've been doing the giving charity. It was quite incredible, and he was very honest, was it?
Okay.
What's up? Put it up. What happened there? Just something jumped in. Should we blame the flying pig?
Yeah, he's jinxed it. I think it's going mental today.
I
Yeah.
don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It just jumped in with the track there. Just a little problem with our software. We'll get it put right. It's no problem whatsoever. But yeah, Gary, he told us at one particular point he had 150 grand on one bet on Blackburn to win to beat Reading. And this was when Blackburn was challenging for the title.
He got 64 on it. He thought he was on the right.
Yeah, he got
right
64. He said, "You know, the bookies, your mugs, 64 Blackburn to beat Reading, your mugs, 150 grand on it." Do you know what the result was, Gary? They
lost.
They got beat 3-0.
Oh, right.
And he lost 150 grand. Yeah, but he was an honest guy, and listen, I mean, I haven't got a lot of love for Arsenal, if I'm perfectly honest about it, but and no great lot of love and respect for Paul Merson. But after Sunday night, Gary, I am a changed man. I really think he's a gentleman. He's an honest man, and he bent over backwards to seat everyone, the photographs and all that. It was great, lads, wasn't it?
He'll always be synonymous with Arsenal, won't he? Because he was an Arsenal player for a long time. But we all know now after the other night, he's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, he's a Chelsea supporter.
He's
Did
a
you know
Chelsea
that?
supporter.
Oh my God.
He's a blue.
Yeah, no, it was a good night. I enjoyed it, and like you said prior to it, because I've only seen him really in recent years on Soccer Saturday on Sky, I didn't think he was going to be that much of a decent guy. I thought he was going to have a bit of an attitude and all that. But it turns out that it completely changed my opinion of him. He was absolutely top draw. He had time for everybody multiple times, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Gary.
Right, back to Gary. So you're looking for volunteers, Gary. Anything else you want to tell us about your
Yeah,
shops?
what's been going on like since we last come on show?
We've got up to 110,000 now. We made a few donations last month. 2 cancer walks, one for the AECC and one for Annie Mona, a breast cancer charity. We donated to the cat lady, who the flying pig knows. And
hang on a minute. Who's this like? What lady do you know that you've been telling us about?
No. I just know her professionally.
All right.
Through the cats.
Have you been making any donations to the cat lady, Steve?
No donations from me. Go on, Gary.
yeah, and like between now and Christmas, we've got 3,000 euro donations committed. One to the Red Cross for kids at Christmas to buy them toys. One for the Gandia Men's Shelter. We're going to buy them around 1,000 euros worth of clothes, new clothes for Christmas.
Can I just interrupt you there, Gary? That's the one.
Yeah, is that in Albia?
Yes.
Is that in Albia? And is that where all the donations are going to the Brew Rock? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Christmas dinner, and they came to us and asked us if we had any second-hand clothes for the men. And we said no, we'd rather buy them all new stuff for Christmas. So we're getting them sweatshirts, sweatpants, and what have you.
Amazing.
And we've also got one for the social services in Finistrap for the less fortunate families at Christmas to buy them food. And we've also got a couple of other surprises for a couple of other charities as well. So we should reach 115,000 at Christmas.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And listen, that's pulled at a little heartstring when you know said, "Oh, we're looking for second-hand clothes," and Gary's come in and says, "Well, what his organisation's going to buy them new clothes." That's a fantastic.
Can you buy me some, Gaz?
Yeah, I think
I was just going to say, does that mean we can give
some?
we can give all the second-hand clothes to the flying pig now, and it looks a lot smarter.
But he's a wonderful guy. Now listen, one more thing before you go. Listen, I'm saying before you go, Gary, you can stay as long as you want, mate. I want a prediction from you. Bournemouth tomorrow, 6th place. The wonderful Bournemouth playing those Arsenal, North London Scummers in 5th place. Who's going to win that game tomorrow, Gary?
Arsenal 2-1.
2-1. Would you be far away from that, lads? I'm going to go Bournemouth win. Because Merson's not playing for Arsenal.
I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay, you'll tell us in a minute. But you're very welcome to stay around, Gary. Not often do you meet such a wonderful guy that dedicates his life to charity and helping people out as Flying Pig. Oh, no, sorry, as Gary there in Give and Forgiven. What are you going to say, Flying
Yeah, I
Pig?
was going to say, Gary, you've got your Facebook page. Do you want to just say where people can get hold of you if they need to?
Yeah, they can look for us on Facebook, like under the name Give and Forgiving, and also they can phone me direct 603 137 697. We're always looking for donations. We'll take virtually anything. And we can collect. We have a van, and I have a couple of guys that help me out volunteering. So we're happy to come to your home and collect anything.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. You're listening here on Radio 1 Benidorm. If you want to listen on the wonderful World Wide Web, it's Radio 1, the figure 1, benidorm.es. Click on the live player. You can also go to the what, Dunk? The TuneIn app?
Yeah, the tuning app, yeah, for your mobile phones, yeah.
We are live on 3 Pundits Facebook, live on 3 Pundits YouTube, and just for today, we're also live on Ken Scott's personal Facebook page as well. We're going to take a little bit more music, and then we're going to come back with the predictions.
Right, you can talk.
Finished at E-Bar, yeah?
Yeah, it's finished at eBay, yeah.
How long?
6.
10 then, just about. Another great music, more great music live from the Levante Beach. Radio 1 Benidorm. Fantastic stuff. Now, Flying Pig, it must be over at Ebar.
Yeah, it's been over at Ebar quite a while now, Scotty. It did end up 3-0 to Ebar, which is an
Amazing,
unbelievable result.
Dunk, what do you think of that
That's
result?
amazing.
That is
I
historical.
honestly can't wait to get home and actually have a look and see what happened.
The
Championship.
Real Madrid are absolutely in turmoil at the minute.
A
yeah.
goal at Rotherham, Steve?
Yeah. Going down to Championship, it was Rotherham 0, Sheffield United 1, but Rotherham have pulled a goal back there. It's now 1-1, which pushes Sheffield United back down into about third or fourth. And also, which we haven't mentioned, 78 minutes gone in the Scottish Premier League. It's Hamilton 0, Celtic 2.
Hamilton Nackies. There's a little bit rhyming slang in Glasgow for that. Hamilton Nackies. You'll never guess what a Hamilton Nackie is. Yeah, well, you will guess. We don't need to do it. We're not playing the race card. But incredible result at Ebar. That is historical. I agree with Flying with Big Dunk. I can't wait to get home and see the reaction on the Spanish television, because we've got Spanish television in our humble abode. I can't also wait tonight, lads, for Boca Juniors versus River Plate. That's on tonight as well. Did you know that?
Yeah, do you know, Scotty, I saw something on Facebook today, and it showed you a clip of the Boca Juniors. There was a training session on, and it showed you the ground while the training session was on. I don't know whether it was today, yesterday, or what. It was a capacity crowd.
Yeah,
it was
fantastic.
unbelievable. The ground
Yeah.
was absolutely full to capacity to watch a training
Training
session.
session, incredible.
And for anybody who doesn't know, it's the first time they've ever met Scotty in it.
It's like the South American equivalent of the Champions League, and these two bitter rivals, and I mean bitter. There's generally a dozen people murdered every year before, during or after the two games of the season between Boca and River Plate. I was speaking to an Argentinian fan of River Plate a couple of weeks ago, and I said, what goes on? You must be stabbing each other. And he went, no, pistola. They shoot each other. You know, that's how bitter rivals are, and they've met in the South American Champions League. I don't know the name of it, but it is the equivalent to South American Champions League. They met at Boca last week. It was a 2-2 draw. So River Plate go into this game favourites. They're playing at home, and they've got a point, and they just need to win 1-0, 2-1 or whatever to take the championship, and that's the last time it will ever be played over 2 legs. Fantastic stuff. Can't wait to watch that game tonight. We've got Tottenham versus Chelsea a little bit later on as well. I mean, it's all brilliant. And then on Monday night, the mighty Newcastle United go to Little Turf Moor to take on Burnley and give them a spanking. Watford versus Liverpool. That's in our next prediction. Watford in 7th place. Liverpool in lucky 2nd. What's the score going to be, lads?
Well, I'm not overly confident about this fixture, Scott.
What?
Yeah, there's some. I don't know. I'm not feeling. I don't know what it is. I think Watford are no mugs. Liverpool have that important Champions League match at PSG on Wednesday to think about. Liverpool have won 9 of their past 11 encounters in all competitions, keeping 7 clean sheets. The other 2 games were a defeat and a draw. There has never been a goalless draw in 22 previous top flight meetings between these two. I'm going to go for Liverpool to win, but I don't think it's going to be a big outcome for Liverpool. I think I'm just going to say 2-1
Okay.
to Liverpool.
Right, I'm actually quite. I don't like agreeing with everybody all the time, but I'm in agreement with Dunk on this, especially as he says with this big game coming up midweek. Watford, funny place to go. Watford are a funny side. They can be absolutely brilliant one minute and they can be garbage another. But all in all this season, they have been quite consistent. It's going to be a really tough game for Liverpool today. Now, my head and my heart says 2 different things. My heart says it's going to be a Liverpool win. My head thinks it might be a draw.
Really?
But I'm going to go with my heart and say a 1-0 win to Liverpool.
Okay, well, I'm going to change my prediction, lads, because we've all got a Liverpool win here, and I can't disagree with Big Dunk. I think it's a difficult place to go to, Watford, so I have written down here, lads, 2-1 to Liverpool, but I'm going to change it to a 1-1 draw. Just for a little bit sport.
I think this is what I'm saying. I just got a bit of a feeling about it. I just think Watford they could. I mean, what position are they? 7th. They're doing all right.
Watford 7th. Liverpool 2nd in the league, which is
we've
the
had these
highest
internationals.
get,
How fresh is everyone and that. So it could be an interesting one to see. That I mean, let's hope Liverpool smash them. That's all I'm bothered about.
It's one of them sticky fixtures, this, isn't it? Going to Watford, as I say.
Now, talking of sticky fixtures, lads, the next fixture is certainly a sticky fixture. It's West Ham playing so inconsistently. It's unbelievable. I've watched a lot of their games this season. They blow very hot and cold. They had a very poor start. They are playing at home in the London Stadium, Man City today, who incidentally, Man City, in the 3 visits to the London Stadium, have won every time and have scored 13 goals. Throw the question back at you, lads. Is it in the realms of possibility that West Ham can get a result here today?
No chance.
No, well, I think we're both in agreement with that. I can't see West Ham getting anything out of this game, Scotty. I think Manchester City, as we said, they're the team to catch. They're too good. They're scoring at will, and I think they'll be too strong. Personally, Dunk.
Yeah, like Scotty was saying there, West Ham have lost all 3 meetings at the London Stadium in all competitions, scoring only 1 goal and conceding 13. City have won all 4 of their league games against the Hammers under Pep. West Ham have won just 2 of their last 16 league games against City, and obviously Manuel Pellegrini was in charge of City for both of those matches. So West Ham, they can't do anything. I'm going for 3-0 for Man City.
Okay, well, I went for 2-0 for Man City.
I hope I'm wrong, Dyke. You know what I mean?
What about you, Flying Pig?
I was going to go for 3-0, same as Dunk, but just to be a little bit different, I'll go 3-1. I'll give West Ham a goal.
Okay, and arguably last but certainly not least, the best best game of the day, without a shadow of a doubt. Tottenham taking on Chelsea at Wembley. Tottenham 4th in the table, Chelsea 3rd. They're
only
more
1
or less
point,
neck and neck. Yeah, 1 point in it. It's going to be, and I tell you what, Tottenham hate Chelsea as much as they hate Arsenal.
If you look
it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, if you look at the stats, Tottenham have won 9, Chelsea have won 8. Tottenham have lost 3, Chelsea haven't lost, but it's the matches, you see. Chelsea have drawn 4 and Tottenham haven't drawn any. You see, they've either won or lost, whereas Chelsea, they've managed to hang on to not getting beat, which is the difference at the minute. But as far as I'm concerned, today, I think they're going to get the first defeat, Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think Spurs are going to beat Chelsea today. And I'm going to go for 2-1 to Tottenham.
Well, none of Tottenham's last 16 Premier League games have ended in a draw. They've won 12, lost 4. which is the longest current such run in the division. Chelsea have kept clean sheets in 4 of their 5 away league games this season. The only goal they have conceded on the road was scored by Newcastle's Joselu. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Joselu.
In August, Dele Alli has scored 5 goals in his last 4 league and cup games against Chelsea, and we've said there's only 1 point between them. I think Tottenham really need to win this game to prove a point to stamp their authority over the local rivals. Potential to be a great game. Hopefully the players that have been on international duty won't be too knackered, because I want to see a really good game today. This is, like you said, this is the game of the day for me. I'm going for a Tottenham victory, and I'm going for Tottenham 2, Chelsea 1.
Okay, exactly the same as Flying Pig. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. I'm going to say to myself, so you both say 2-1 to Tottenham, yeah?
Yeah, I nearly went with the draw.
Okay,
but
I'm going with the
draw.
draw. Just in the interest of diversification, I'm going to say Tottenham 1, Chelsea 1. Now, as you say, there's nothing in it. Tottenham's got the home advantage, if you can call Wembley the home advantage, because Tottenham don't like playing there. The supporters will tell you that. The rabbi, the famous Spurs rabbi, he'll tell you that he'll never go back to Wembley again. Every time he goes to get beat or put a poor performance in. That's the predictions finished with, lads. That is perfect timing. We're going to take a few ads. We're going to take one little bit of music called Trouble. It doesn't tell me who the artist is, but not to worry, I'm sure it's a great track. The tracks that the Radio 1 guys pick are unbelievable. So we'll take a few ads, a little bit of music, and we'll be back with more Balokes.
Live indeed from 2 p.m. every Saturday on the Saturday afternoon sports show. Flying Pig, I know what you're going to tell me. Ebar's had a real valiant attempt, but Real Madrid's come back with 2 or 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
Don't talk silly.
Fantastic.
It's
Fantastic.
still 83 minutes gone, Scotty, and it's still either 3, Real Madrid 0, and in the Championship, 51 minutes gone just after half time. It's Rotherham 0, Sheffield United 1. So Sheffield United is still top of the league at the minute.
Is that all the time's gone in that game? Seemed to kick off hours ago.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
You refreshed the page.
No, I might not refreshed it, you never know.
Let's have a look.
Let's see. Yesterday, that
This is live radio from the Levante Beach in Benidorm, and we see all the Flying Pigs cock-ups.
I'm not.
Live.
I never got
No, hang on a minute. Yeah, you're the one with the buttons over there, stopping and starting.
How long we went in that game?
There's 52 minutes gone.
Now we see there was 51 minutes before.
Yeah, a minute ago, yeah.
We are
No,
live.
Listen, I'm always on the button.
Yeah,
All right.
Sure.
Right.
Let's get these predictions underway. What game are we starting with, guys? Come on.
Okay, let's have a look. What game are we starting with? We're starting with, obviously, Brighton versus Leicester. Brighton in 12th place, Leicester in 10. A real close encounter there. What's your predictions on this, lads?
Right, okay, well, Brighton have lost only one of their last 8 Premier League home games. 5 of those games have been played this season. However, Leicester, who have won 3 of their past 5 Premier League away games, won 2-0 in both Premier League meetings last season, and I believe they will win again today. So I'm going for Brighton 1, Leicester City 2.
Okay, 1-2 the big dog. I have to tell you that I was listening to a podcast going around the river. When I walk the dogs.
Does he go around that river?
Unless you don't have to work.
You made me out over there when you said his dogs must be knackered.
And it was an Alan Shearer True Geordie podcast, but this is the best bit. He was talking about Big Dunk. You remember Big Dunk?
Oh yeah.
Forever, he played for Newcastle.
Yeah, the original Big Dunk.
And every now and again he was going, and Big Dunk, and I was going, I couldn't get the picture of Big Dunk, this Big Dunk, out of my mind, leaping for a header.
That's a nice
picture, and putting it into the net, because quite frankly, Big Dunk, you couldn't leap the height of your heels, could you?
There's no need for that.
Even though you're a bit of a
That's just terrible.
Do you know why he's been clever? Because Newcastle aren't playing.
Newcastle's one of the few. Listen, at the end of the day, Newcastle could be the only team in the Premier League on 100% record for November. Did you know that? If Man City don't win and Tottenham don't win, and they're playing Chelsea,
if Tottenham and Man City don't win.
Yeah, if Tottenham and Man City don't win, Newcastle are the only team in the Premier League with 100% November record. Sounds fantastic. Still 3-0 at Ebar, Frank Big?
Yeah, still 3-0, mate.
What do you reckon? Flying Pig, Brighton and Leicester.
Oh,
What's your prediction?
I'm going for a Brighton win.
Oh, what's the score?
I'm going for a 2-0 win to Brighton.
Oh,
Did you have a bit of a stutter then?
Well, yeah, I did, yeah. I did go a 2-1.
You were like that with that dancer the other night.
Graham Callahan is watching on my little personal site there. I'm glad you've come in, Graham Callahan, because I believe you're about to have a book published in the next few weeks. And what we want to do, the three pundits, we're going to step up our activity on the old podcast, and we're going to start interviewing famous people. And we're going to start interviewing people with authors about their books that's coming out. So you need to get in touch with me, Graham Callahan, and we can give you a little bit free publicity. Delighted to do so, the three pundits. What's happening with your screen? Is it still Ebor 3, Real Madrid 0, Flying Pig?
Yeah, just carry on.
Okay, how long left? I'm getting excited with this, so I really am getting excited.
There's about 3 minutes left.
Oh, come on, Ebor, come on. Everton in 9th position, Cardiff in 18th, arguably one of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen. What's your predictions on this one, lads?
Who's going, me or you?
Yeah, man, well, you go.
Well, it's 92 years since Cardiff last win away to Everton, which was a top flight game in December 1926, when you were born.
Can you remember that, Flying Pig?
I can, yeah, actually.
I think you took your son to that game,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah.
They haven't won a league game against Everton since 1956, drawing 4 and losing 3 since. Everton are starting to look like they could be a good side, I think. They lost a couple of games this season, which they should have wrapped up, but there can be excuse for that. And I think they'll beat Cardiff today, mate, 2-0.
Well,
go on, Scotty.
Well, what I was going to say, I'm just jumping in there because I'm not a million miles away from Big Dunk's prediction. I went Everton 3, Cardiff 0.
Yeah, just saying that they're the worst team you've ever seen in Premiership. I've got to just say
One of the
thing,
ones.
Scotty. They're only 1 point behind Newcastle.
Well, when I said...
They're actually 3 points above Fulham and 1 point above Huddersfield. And they're only 1 point behind Newcastle and Burnley.
Listen, there is some incredible statistics about Newcastle. Now, don't forget, we could be one of the only unbeaten teams, or rather not the only team with a 100% record in November. Newcastle United, they've played all top 6. Who's that outside there on the roof? What you doing? The top 6 clubs, and they've only been beaten by an odd goal on every occasion.
We know that.
Newcastle are a lot better than the points in the league position suggests, Flying Pig. So you just stick to your Spanish football, will you? And just tell me Ebor's still winning 3-0.
You just got to get... I'm not bothered about Ebor for a minute. You're saying about Newcastle, you've got to go down to the proper statistics, and they're only 1 point above Cardiff.
But Cardiff's played Huddersfield.
Cardiff they've played.
They've played all the crap teams, you know?
Right, well, they played today.
He's triggered, didn't he? You
Right.
set him right off.
So, Everton against Cardiff.
Yeah, give us a score.
3-1 to Everton.
Okay. So you probably also agree that Cardiff's one of the worst teams the Premiership have ever seen, apart from Sunderland when they were relegated with about 3 points. Okay, Big Dunk, what do you reckon?
Well, for what? Which one?
Everton.
I'll give you it already.
Oh, no, you have, haven't you?
He's on another planet today.
That's because you triggered him.
You said
set him
2-0,
off.
and I said 3-0. Okay.
That's right.
Moving swiftly on, Fulham in 20th place, Southampton versus 17, a real bottom of the table clash there, lads.
Claudio Ranieri. Yeah, he's back, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
First time since February, I think. Relegation game. But what about the odds of Ranieri guiding Fulham to the title? 5,000 to 1, mate. I looked this morning. Fancy a bit of that, do you?
Not
Yeah,
really.
I think so.
Nah.
But apparently, when Leicester won it, they were 5. I do believe that they were about 5,000.
Yeah, they were 5,001 at the beginning of the
Yeah,
season.
well, God, there's only 12 games gone.
Only a possible 36 points has gone. Come on, man. Tell me about Ebor.
Right. Forget Ebor. No one's interested. Right. Southampton are unbeaten in their past 6 league and cup games against Fulham, winning the last 3 encounters without conceding. However, I think Ranieri might give Fulham a lift today, guys, and I'm gonna say that Fulham are gonna win, and I'm gonna go for 2-1.
Okay, 2-1. Now, Mitrovic scored in the Nations League last week for Serbia. He also missed a penalty, a little dink of a penalty, went over the bar. But I'm gonna say that I would agree 100% with you, and I don't do that very often, Big Dunk. But I'm going to say that Ranieri will give Fulham a little bit of a lift, and they are playing one of the worst teams in the league as well. Only 3 positions above them, even though Fulham is in plumb last place. No, I can't take Fulham win. I'm going to go 1-1. 1-1.
Oh dear me.
Right, Big, what do you reckon?
I reckon the Tinkerman's going to turn it all round.
Yeah, today.
Yeah,
What do you reckon?
I'm going for a Fulham win 2-0.
2-0. Okay, right. Should we take Man United Crystal Palace?
Yes, yeah, let's go. We're on a roll, aren't we?
Go for it. It's 10 minutes to 3. We'll take this last prediction. Then we'll leave you with some nice music up the top of the hour, and we'll come back with the rest of them. Man United now. Mr. Mourinho's come out with some bull yesterday in his press conference, in his Friday afternoon press conference, where he slaughtered several players, basically saying they're soft, they're disrespectful, blah, blah, blah.
I think we should talk about that later, definitely.
Okay, we'll certainly
I
go
think
to that.
I think we'll get stuck into that.
And I think that, and I'm going to give the prediction first, I'm thinking that although he's pulled it round the last few weeks, apart from getting battered off Man City 2 weeks ago, and I mean battered, even though it was only, I think, what, 3-1, was it? 3-1, guys, that Man City beat Man United? I think he's a strange chap. Is Mr. Mourinho. He seems to have got his team back on target. Okay, not many teams are going to beat Man City this year. He gets beat off Man City, and then he's in his press conference yesterday. Well, it wasn't a press conference, actually, it was an interview with the Spanish newspaper, and he slaughtered and named 4 or 5 of his players. I think Big Dunk's got his actual full speech there, and we'll cover it a little bit later on. But for that reason, I think he has now turned the dressing room back to cack again, okay? And I reckon Man United 0, Crystal Palace 16.
Oh, don't eat
I'm a serious broadcaster. I don't know why.
On a serious note, Man United are not going to score, and Crystal Palace are going to get the odd goal, and they're going to
Really?
1-0.
Wow.
1-0 to Crystal Palace. That's my prediction, lads.
Steve, are you going?
No, well, I'm not going like that. I think that's a bit ridiculous to be personally. No, I still think, even after all the slagging that he's given his players, I still think that they'll be too good for Crystal Palace. And I'm going for just a very small Manchester United win, possibly 1-0 or 2-1. I'm going to go for 1-0.
1-0 to Man United.
Well, Palace have lost 11 successive league matches at Old Trafford, with their last win coming in December 1989. However, they did win a League Cup tie away to United in November 2011. Did you hear that? What's that?
That's somebody drilling
What's
outside.
going on today? It's an absolute carnage, United have never lost in 18 Premier League matches versus Palace, which is a competition record for a team against a single opponent, and that will still be the case at full time today, guys, because Man United are going to win 3-0.
3-0 for Big Dunk. These are the Liverpool lads that have went for the Man United wins. I'm glad that they're really, they're going with the head rather than the heart, to be quite honest. That's probably why I'm bottom of the league.
That's why you're last and I'm top.
We've got to go very, very quickly. There were a couple of little ads that we should have squeezed in at 1:45. We'll take those ads. We'll go to the top of the hour, and we'll be back with the other predictions. Trouble to me. Does anybody know who that was, lads?
Weren't listening.
Weren't listening? Come on, you've got to have your finger on the pulse, lads. You've got to have your finger on the pulse. Definitely. Now, listen, you have something to say about Mourinho, my friend.
Yes, we mentioned this, didn't we, or alluded that we were going to talk about it when we were talking about the Man United game. I think you're going to have a go at him, aren't you, as well? Because you were talking about the comments to do with these players lacking maturity, yeah?
Yeah, he said there was, but he didn't just say my players lack maturity. He named them, Big Dunk. He named them.
Anthony Martial, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, and Jesse Lingard. He believes he needs to become more competitive to realise their potential. With him stating that generally the new generation of footballers are too pampered. They're lacking maturity. For example, Luke Shaw, when I got here 2 years ago, the boy didn't even know how to compete. Great potential, yes, but he doesn't know how to compete. And when we talk about Luke Shaw, about Martial, about Lingard, about Marcus Rashford, we're talking about boys with great potential, but who are still lacking. A word I can't say, but you like to say it a lot, having that courage. They're lacking a bit of this. In English, in the United States, he mentioned the United States for some reason, people might say spoiled or spoiled kids. Our children are more spoiled than when we were by our own parents. We were more mature, we were better prepared. And he waffled on, but that was basically, he was saying that the young players are spoiled today. So maybe he has, maybe he's a bit right with that, no?
Well, he might be right.
His error is that he's
He
mentioned these players and
He might be
by
right.
name.
He might be right. He might be wrong. Do you think he might have done this to see if it'll G him up, to see if he'll get a response out of him? Do you think it's one of them
I can't wait up because we've said before.
psychology things? You know what I mean? He might think, well, I'll name him, and then then they might try to prove him wrong. I mean, it could work both ways, Doug. They could say, oh, well, stuff you, I'm not going to play for you. Or they could turn around and say, well,
I'm going to show you. I'm going to
The
show
thing
you.
is,
You know what I mean?
we've continually discussed this, guys, this season so far, haven't we? Each time I remember early in the season, every week there was some reason why Man United were on the back pages for something he'd said or some drama, the Pogba carry on and all that. And then it went quiet, didn't it? And we were saying, right, it looks like they've finally settled down, maybe if there's any dressing room problems, maybe they're all right. And then this comes out. So he's probably got some truth in what he's saying about the young players today. But maybe he should have kept those opinions more in. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. We said this, didn't we, when they had that media day when he was Pogba that he bollocked.
Yeah.
And we all said, that got caught on camera. We all said, didn't we? He knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He's not stupid.
I wonder, lads, if them 4 players that you mentioned, Big Dunk. I wonder if he said if it's almost some sort of little game plan and a little joke, and he'll go to those 4 players and he'll say, listen, lads, I'm going to wind the press up here. I'm going to mention your names and saying you're immature and you're not with it and that. But listen, I don't really mean it. I'm just giving the press something to grab a hold of. You don't think there's any of that like gamesmanship in it?
No, I don't, honestly.
And then they get pundits such as us and Paul Merson discussing all these things when they get back to the studios.
Listen, he's put them on the back papers again, maybe for the wrong reason. Is he trying to distract from something else? I mean, what?
Listen, in the past, and when I say in the past, I mean, just in the past, going back.
You're saying in the past there, Steve?
Yeah. What I mean is, I'm not going back. Well, you can go back 20 years, but I mean, I'm only going back like last season, or even further back. All the top managers never, ever, ever criticise the players. They always back them up.
Yeah.
They never, even if I think they've done something.
Do you remember
really bad.
Fergie doing that? And we know that Fergie used to go and give him an hairdryer and basically stick boots in people's faces.
Yeah.
But did you ever see him come out and say it?
Never. They always backed his players up. And so has all the top
He's
managers.
got no need to do it. So why is he doing it?
Because I think he's a price.
He's doing something, isn't he? He's doing it for a.
As I said, I don't know. In his mind, he might think it might have a reverse effect, and he might start playing for him. But if I was one, what would you do if you were one of them players? I would turn around and say, "I will
I'd
stop
say
you."
and go.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Stop you.
I wouldn't be putting extra
I
effort
would,
into
I
prove
would.
myself. I wouldn't have to think I
In
don't need
fact,
to.
I'd be even lazier and get rid of it.
I think Luke, yeah, exactly. I mean, some of these players, Marcus Rashford, I really like him. Luke Shaw has looked better. I know that he wasn't looking.
Martial's been playing out of his skin for the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Don't forget, guys, just bringing Newcastle into it again. Luke Shaw, you're talking about Luke Shaw. Man United have conceded more goals this season than Newcastle. 5 more goals than Newcastle this season. So, maybe he's got
not just one player, though, is it?
Yeah, but maybe he's got a little bit of a good
The point is that Luke Shaw is
his
I think
defence.
Luke Shaw is upped his game, I think.
I think basically that.
So you can't say he's not
I think
trying.
Manchester United's defence is crap anyway. I really do.
Mm.
And they've got nobody else to
Well,
come in.
they're
When
both-
when you think you've got Donkey on sidelines waiting to come on.
And as you say, I think they've conceded something like 21 goals this season.
Well,
Listen, there's been a couple of goals at Rotherham Fly Pig. You need to bring us up to date. We're in the 90th minute. It's a significant game in the Championship. What's happening?
Yeah, well, it was 1-1. Sheffield United did go 2-1 up. Scotty not long ago, about 86 minutes, but in the last 2 minutes later, Rotherham have equalised. It's Rotherham 2, Sheffield United 2, deep into injury time.
Storm.
And up there in Scotland, it is full time there. It's Hamilton Academicals 0, Celtic 3.
Staying with United, guys, Jose Mourinho thinks that United can break into the Premier League's top 4 by the end of December. They're currently 8th, 7 points off Champions League qualification places. He said, I know it's a big gap, But I also know until the end of December we have 8 Premier League matches to play, and with 8 matches we are speaking about 24 points. I believe we are going to be there. Now, what do you think?
I don't think you'll be anywhere near me.
No.
No, nowhere near.
Well, I have to turn it around, and as I was saying, Flying Pig, a few seconds ago, look at the teams. I read down from Arsenal and from Tottenham and goals that these teams have conceded this season.
Right.
Tottenham 10, Arsenal 15, Bournemouth 16, Watford 14, Man United 21.
That's not, isn't it?
Even below Man United, Everton 15, Leicester 16, Wolves 13, Brighton 18, West Ham 18, and Newcastle 15.
Burnley, Cardiff, Huddersfield, and Fulham.
5 teams.
Yeah.
Have conceded more goals this season than Man
Well,
United.
Well, Southampton are right down there in 17th place on 8
And they've
points.
got one.
And they've only conceded 21
And they've
goals,
got
same as Man United.
United. He's got one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Surely.
Yeah. How many's Man United conceded?
21.
21 or 25?
21. 21, same as,
21, yeah.
same as Southampton.
So, and again, we're shouting our mouths off before about Southampton being a very bad team, and they've just conceded the same amount of goals as Man United. That really shows.
Well,
how bad.
he wanted centre backs in the summer, didn't he? But they want back in here.
Well, I mean, he's criticised 4 players there, and 3 of them are strikers. It's his defence he wants to be looking at.
Well, listen, I haven't got any sympathy for him, and we want to get away from the Man United show and go on to something else. But I haven't got any sympathy for him whatsoever. They've spent more money this season than every other club in the league except Man City. Okay, no sympathy whatsoever. He's got the highest wage bill in the Premier League. Did you know that, lads?
Yeah.
I mean, he has the best players at his club. He should be having the best players. He shouldn't be conceding 21 goals.
Manchester United in 8th. We've said this before. How many times have we said this? That's a crisis.
Yeah,
That's not right.
Now I want to get back
Yeah,
to.
it's great.
But it's great to see.
I want to get back to. I mentioned it. I think on the Monday evening show, Flying Pig, Big Dunk, the financial fair play rule, and what an absolute farce it is. It was all brought out about 8 or 9 years ago now, and it was designed to stop teams spending more money than what their income
And
was.
I knew it had never worked.
And of course, it never worked. Now, I was doing a little bit of research before, and I just want to share some figures with you. One of the biggest farces of it is that these teams shouldn't be in debt, okay? Because they should be accumulating more income than what's going out the back door. However, these rich owners, i.e. the Man City, the guy Sheikh Mansour, I think he's called, and the likes of the Abramoviches, when they lend money to the club, it's not registered. They're just lending money. There's no official payback. There's no official contract that these debts have to be paid or financed monthly. Now listen to this. You do not have a clue, lads. What do you think Chelsea's net debt is? That is money lent to the club by Abramovich under never paid back.
It's astronomical, because I know that if he was to leave, Chelsea would be absolutely in the.
Hundreds of
If he was
millions.
to call it back and say, I want that money, I would say 600 million.
Yeah, I'd have gone up by I'd have gone up 400 or 500 million
It's
personally.
even as double it, isn't it?
1.17 billion.
Mental.
Okay, Arsenal have a very conservative debt of 47 million.
Well, that's neither here nor there in that.
Your lads, what do you reckon your lads are? What's Liverpool's in debt?
I don't think we've got much debt at all.
100 odd million.
Just not much, 100 not million. 200 million. Okay. Now here's the breakers of the fair financial play rule. Man City have a registered debt of 48 million. However, they owe to Sheikh Mansour another 1.2 billion. And this is where the financial fair play rule, are to use the word, bollocks.
Yeah,
Absolute nonsense.
It's just fiddling it in it, it's balancing it
Yeah.
and making it as loans and all that, like you're saying. And then we know that then there's the corporate deals that they get around it and stadium naming rights. And it was always going to be, there was no way that financial fair play was ever going to work. And if you look at the clubs that have been disciplined under it, and I can't give you any examples, but I'm sure there's a Spanish club amongst them, a lot of them are minnows. if you look, these teams you see come up in the UEFA tournaments, and you go, oh, they're there. A lot of these teams are stuff like that. Teams like that. So there has been punishments relating to financial fair play, but I think you'll find that the majority of it is down at these smaller clubs.
Yeah, because you get the likes of a team called A-Bar, whatever, and they do everything by the book, and they borrow money off the bank, and they've got a very low income, and then FIFA jump on them and say, hang on a second, you're spending double what your income is, because they're putting fair, honest systems in place. And as you say, you get the likes of Chelsea, you get the likes of Man City, who the owners are so wealthy, they're able to lend them 1.12 million, and it's not registered.
Billion?
Billion. Did I say million there?
Billion.
It is absolutely ridiculous. Incidentally, Manchester United, £213 million in debt. Newcastle United, on the record, net debt not stated. What does that mean?
That means that they haven't got a debt.
Not stated.
It means that.
However,
I can't get into debt because Ashley's got it all in his back pocket.
Well said, mate. Alongside it, it does say £120 million loaned from Mike Ashley since his tenure 10 years ago. So rest assured, when he sells up, he will want that £129 million back.
Yeah. I've got a bit on Newcastle when you're ready.
Go on, tell me, is it good news or bad?
No, it was just something I saw this week to do with Willem Balaguer, the Spanish pundit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's been commenting on whether or not Rafa Benitez will stay at Newcastle due to the lack of financial support from Mike Ashley. In a column for the BBC, Balaguer said Benitez's reward for gaining promotion and Newcastle's idea of preparing for a life in the Premier League was to have a net spend of about a third of what Huddersfield and Brighton spent in the summer of 2017. In fact, the net spend of about £20 million still put them well in credit on transfer dealings during Rafa's rule and streaks behind the vast majority of Premier League clubs. Ashley's claim that he will spend every penny generated on improving the club has, to date, translated into a 2018-19 season in which he has made another net profit on the transfer market of about £7.5 million. What happens in the winter window will define the direction of Rafa's relationship, which it takes with Newcastle. The impression local observers have is that he would probably not extend his contract unless they spend, and Newcastle say they will not spend unless the manager commits to the club.
Yeah, it's a stalemate, unfortunately. And incidentally, on wage bills, just while we're talking finance, we'll have to go very shortly, take a little bit of music and things. But on wages, on the wage bills, do you know who the biggest wage bill, what the biggest wage bill is? What club?
Well, you said
United.
You said United, didn't
you? Man United.
Yeah.
300 million to spend. Chelsea 266 million, Man City 206 million, Liverpool 200 million. Newcastle are down there in 15th place with a wage bill of 47 million. Wow. We're not at the races, lads.
No.
But what is the answer to it all then? I mean, do we really want, should each club in the Premier League, should there be a rule in place that says you can only spend, should there be a cap?
Well, I've always said this.
Or is it not fair to the big clubs that can turn around and say, hang on, just because we've got better resources, we shouldn't be able to.
I've always said that it should be capped. It should be capped on spending. It should be capped on transfers. It should be capped on wages.
Well, it's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Okay.
Well, I've always said that.
Yeah.
That it should be capped. So
it's just not going to happen. You can't cap anything. There's no way. What the fair play rule is that you can't spend more money than what you bring in. But unfortunately, because of these rich owners, it's basically it's not registered, it's not official, and therefore they don't get pulled out for it. We're going to have to take a wee bit of a break. As I say, we're going to be back. It's 25 minutes to 4, and we'll be with you real shortly. Castles in the Sky, Ian Van Daal, whoever the hell he is. Who's he play for?
Just get on with it.
All right.
We stay with that. That cap.
Just before the break, Flying Pig says got to cap wages, got to cap spending, got to cap transfer. It's never going to work, Flying Pig.
No, it's probably never going to work. But I think they should. I think it should be capped in all sports.
I mean, should you be punished if you're a more successful club and you've got better resources, you manage your finances better or whatever, maybe they don't actually, some of them going by the figures he's just been coming out with. But should you really, is it not getting a bit communist, like, you know, saying that you only can all spend the same amount? Or would that make it brilliant?
But
Make it better.
I've got no, the fair play rules are the principle of them is good. What it's basically saying, you can't spend more income than what you have coming in.
Yes.
The theory would be that the likes of Newcastle United, who fill their stadium every week, 52,000, the likes of Liverpool, the likes of Man United, I'm not going to mention Man City because they do not fill their stadium every week, the likes of the Arsenal, they can spend all their income, they can spend all their shirt money in that. Where it's wrong is when Sheikh Masua comes in and lends a club 1.2 billion. And let's not take anything away from Man City. They're playing absolutely fantastic, but they've bought the title on both on the 2 occasions, 3 occasions have won it now, as did Chelsea. Okay?
And these clubs are getting richer and richer, aren't they? They're getting richer and richer, greedier and greedier.
Not getting richer and richer, they're getting more and more in debt. When you look at
well,
it's the way that the books are balanced.
It's yeah.
That's the way. That's to get round all of that.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
when Leicester won the
You say they've got,
Premiership, it was a breath of fresh air.
you say they've got, you say you've got a debt, and then in other things, you know, you hear in the media that Manchester United are one of the top, if not Manchester United and Real Madrid, right?
On income, richest on
richest clubs in the world. So, and then you turn around and say they've got a debt of 1.2
Should there be a limit on how much
billion, you know what I mean?
Spend in a transfer window.
Um,
You can't spend more than 100 million, 50 million.
I think in theory you could have a cap on the transfers.
Yeah.
You could say pull a figure out of the air, a ridiculous figure, 100 million. You can't spend 100 million.
What happens if you get 3 players with long-term injuries?
no, but
And you need to enter the market. What if you've got serious injuries? Is that just you got to deal with it? That's what a squad's for.
Paul, who's coming up shortly, has just said that 100 million won't buy one player. No, not in this day and age. But if they put a cap on it, then they'd have to start charging less for players.
But I would throw that argument back, Paul, that you could get 2 remarkable players for 100 million. Let's be honest about it. I know you could push the Messi boat out of the Ronaldo, and then you're talking 100 million. But you could get 2 or even 3 brilliant players for 100 million pounds. What you've got to be asking the football clubs are, do they want to go and push the boat out and get one player at 90 million and then somebody at 5 and 6 and 7? Or do they want to play cagey, play sensible, and maybe look at bringing 9 or 10 players in on a reasonable level of transfer fee? I think the 100 million's not a million miles away, to be honest. Maybe push it up a little bit more, 120 or 130. But, you know, it's not right that Man United can go and spend, 50 million on Pogba and then 50 million on Sanchez
Would it not
and
make
then
it
50
more-
million on someone else.
Would there be, sorry,
How many clubs can afford 120 million though? When you're saying you're having a cap, there's still probably only got 4 or 5 clubs.
Well, Newcastle's never going to spend that sort of money.
Exactly.
You know?
So that cap.
So let's lower the
irrelevant,
cap to
really.
like Ashley level. Let's say 10 million.
yeah, still do
Why
that.
not, lads? Why not?
But what, irrespective of the transfers, what about capping players? Capping
Well,
players'
salary.
wages? Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I've been saying that for years. Nobody needs to earn 300 grand a week. You can only spend so much money. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but what Merson said the other night, and I actually had to agree with him, he says Tom Cruise gets, 50 million pounds or dollars a picture. One picture that he makes, one movie, he gets 50 million.
Not the minute time though, does it?
And his career can go on till he's 75 years of age.
I'm not having that.
It's
That's
about
a stupid
market forces.
comparison, I think.
It's about market forces.
You
and
know, if
money in the
you're, if
game.
you're picking up 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand a week, you only need to work. How long do you need to work? I'll work for 1 week on that. That'll see.
Yeah, I'd only work a week, and that'd be me.
You can only spend so much. You can only spend so much money. It's just ridiculous. Whatever profession it is. So,
Yeah, I've always said that players should be capped. I think they cap things in rugby, don't they? In rugby league, rugby union, they're all capped. Yeah, it's not rubbish. They're all capped. They're capped in that. They're capped in what they can spend. They're capped in what they can pay the players and what the transfer market's are. So they've all got a cap on it, and it keeps it all on a level playing field.
so it works then
I think it works.
between the big clubs and the small clubs.
Yes.
Yes.
I
Is there-
personally believe it does.
So what leagues are we talking? Are you talking about this? I don't even know what it is with the rugby.
Well, just the Super League, Rugby League.
And is it more
Premiership
competitive
Rugby,
or does someone win it every year?
well, you've still got the top four sides, 5 sides. Not in rugby as much in rugby union. That varies a little bit. In rugby, no. Recently, in both codes, there's been teams, that have been up at the top, and it has been alternating a bit. It has levelled it all out a little bit. I'm not saying it's capping all the wages and the transfer market, etc. That's done it, but it does keep it into a more of a level playing field.
But again, and this is the scandalous, ridiculous comparison, the difference between the likes of the Premiership clubs and the League One and the League Two clubs, likes of Bradford, and Walsall, and these crap teams like Sunderland and things. The TV money, just to give you the TV money, that the clubs that I'm going to run a few of them out of the top leagues this year. Man United are going to earn from TV alone 149 million. Man City 147 million. Chelsea 139. Liverpool 143. And even Newcastle, who aren't doing very well, will earn 120 million. Now, here is the problem. Sunderland, okay, in the last Premier League year, made 94 million from TV money. They dropped down into the Championship. How much did they make last year in the Championship? 7 million. What a difference.
Is this because of the times that they're on the television?
Television rights, yeah, and the money that they get paid. They went into League One this year, and the payments from television, and they're going to have quite a few live games televised, 900,000. Now, Paul, here's a one, League One. What's the average? The average that a League One club receives in television revenue over the course of the season, off the top of your head?
100 grand.
350,000.
Wow.
That's what an average League One club receives. Don't even go to League Two, okay? A League One club, 350,000. Man United, 149 million. Just from television, never mind gates, sponsorships and the rest, just from television. And again, lads, as long as those, what's the word, disparities are in the game, then I'm afraid you're always going to have the Premier League and the also runs underneath.
Well, it's the same. It's the same in all walks of life, Scotty. The rich get richer.
Can we just stay with League One a minute? 'Cause I printed this out because I just wanted to ask you, Scott, if you thought Sunderland, if you were happy for them, because the second 2 points off top in League One.
Yeah, but they're on a slippery slope now.
I was just curious, and I thought, I wonder where they are. So when he starts mentioning,
yeah, slippery slope. They lost well, they didn't. They got a goal in the last minute and they drew at home last week. I can't
going up, mate, going up.
And they've got a very, very difficult game today
Newcastle
against
going down,
Walsall.
Sunderland going up.
Listen, Newcastle 100% record in November. Those bad times are behind us, lads. They're behind us.
Right.
Guys, we've exhausted the conversations once again today. Big Paul Tees in the studio. Had a great night out with him on Sunday evening. Merson doing during the break. Paul also alluded to the fact that Merson is our favourite footballer of all time, apart from Mark Shearer. He's a great guy, a really honest fella, and we loved it. Really love it. We loved it when we had that night in the Marina Hotel. I hope there's some more of those sort of events coming, Paul. I know the producers at Radio 1, and listen, hats off to the producers from Radio 1. They brought Frank Bruno here a few months ago. They brought Merson here, very successful, sold out. Actually, a very nice dinner as well, which is surprising.
These
sort of events. Wonderful. Wonderful. And at 7 minutes to 4, we're going to go and take in one of the 3 o'clock English, 4 o'clock Spanish time kickoffs in the Union Jack 2, one of our sponsors. The other sponsors, who are the Flying Pig?
Oh, we've got Brew Rock,
the Church,
Best football fans site in the world, coptalk.com.
Shamrock. We've got Given Forgiven. We've got Animal Angels. We've also got Fresno Insurance. The Molly Hotel.
Union Jack Bars.
We've already said that, man. Come on. You've got Alzheimer's. I'm sure you've got Alzheimer's.
But apart from that, I'd just like to say as well, you was on about Merson. If you want to watch a video that's been put together about that night last Sunday.
Have you seen it, Paul?
You'll
Yeah.
find it on the Three Pundits, don't or where else you can find it?
Yeah, Facebook, just search the Three Pundits. Also iTunes, any podcast app, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere. The Three Pundits.
And if you look at this a photograph and about a 5-second clip before us three pundits in Merson, the very suave and sophisticated chap in the blue suit. That's Big Paul.
So
That's
Paul,
T.
yeah.
He came in and
He
this
showed
suit,
us all
what
up,
was his
didn't he?
suit like that?
He showed us up, didn't he?
Yeah.
Dapper as anything, man.
Expensive threads they were.
Yeah, man.
I can tell you straight from Gary's shop. But anyway, we
Give him Gary's shot.
forgiven. Beautiful suit in all seriousness and a great night. It's 5 minutes to 4 from me, Ken Scott, front of the net.
And from me, the Flying Pig, always on the button.
Yeah, from Big Dunk, adios.